Lucian of Samosata was a rhetorician and satirist who wrote in the Greek language. He is noted for his witty and scoffing nature. Although he wrote solely in Greek, mainly Attic Greek, he was ethnically Assyrian. Lucian claimed to be a native speaker of a barbarian tongue, which was most likely Syriac, a dialect of Aramaic. Biography. Few details of Lucian's life can be verified with any degree of accuracy. He claimed to have been born in Samosata, in the former kingdom of Commagene, which had been absorbed by the Roman Empire and made part of the province of Syria. In his works, Lucian refers to himself as an Assyrian and barbarian, perhaps indicating he was from the Semitic and not the imported Greek population of Samosata. There are more than 80 surviving works attributed to him: declamations, essays both laudatory and sarcastic, satiric epigrams, and comic dialogues, and symposia with a satirical cast studied with quotations in alarming contexts and allusions set in an unusual light, designed to be surprising and provocative. His name added luster to any entertaining and sarcastic essay. More than 150 surviving manuscripts attest to his continued popularity. The first printed edition of a selection of his works was issued at Florence in 1499. His best-known works are A True Story, and Dialogues of the Gods and Dialogues of the Dead. Lucian was trained as a rhetorician, a vocation where one pleads in court, composing pleas for others, and teaching the art of pleading. Lucian's practice was to travel about, giving amusing discourses and witty lectures improvised on the spot, somewhat as a rhapsody had done in declaiming poetry at an earlier period. In this way Lucian travelled through Ionia and mainland Greece, to Italy and even to Gaul, and won much wealth and fame. Lucian admired the works of Epicurus, for he breaks off a witty satire against Alexander of Abinoticus, who burned a book of Epicurus, to exclaim, "What blessings that book creates for its readers, and what peace, tranquility, and freedom it engenders in them, liberating them as it does from terrors and apparitions and portents, from vain hopes and extravagant cravings, developing in them intelligence and truth, and truly purifying their understanding, not with torches and squills, i.e., onions, and that sort of foolery, but with straight thinking, truthfulness and frankness." Works. There are 70 surviving works attributed to Lucian. He wrote in a variety of styles which included comic dialogues, rhetorical essays and prose fiction. Lucian was also one of the earliest novelists in Western civilization. In A True Story, a fictional narrative work written in prose, he parodies some of the fantastic tales told by Homer in the Odyssey and also the not-so-fantastic tales from the historian Thucydides. He anticipated modern, fictional themes like voyages to the Moon and Venus, extraterrestrial life and wars between planets, nearly 2 millennia before Jules Verne and H. G. Wells. His novel is widely regarded as an early, if not the earliest science fiction work. Lucian also wrote a satire called The Passing of Peregrinus, in which the lead character, Peregrinus Proteus, takes advantage of the generosity of Christians. This is one of the earliest surviving pagan perceptions of Christianity. His Philisudes is a frame story which includes the original version of The Sorcerer's Apprentice. In his Symposium, far from Plato's discourse, the diners get drunk, tell smutty tales and behave badly. The Macrobi, which is devoted to longevity, has been attributed to Lucian, although it is generally agreed that he was not the author. It gives some mythical examples like that of Nestor, who lived 3 generations, or Tiresias, the blind seer of Thebes, who lived 6 generations. It tells about the seers, who are said to live 300 years, or the people of Athos, who are also said to live 130 years. Most of the examples of real men lived between 80 and 100 years, but 10 cases of alleged centenarians are given. It also gives some advice concerning food intake and moderation in general. Lucian's Cataplus or Downward Journey was deathbed reading for David Hume, the source of Nietzsche's Übermensch or Overman. Pseudo-Lucian. There is debate over the authorship of some works transmitted under Lucian's name, such as De Syria, the Amorus and the Ass. These are usually not considered genuine works of Lucian and are normally cited under the name of Pseudo-Lucian. The Ass is probably a summarized version of a story by Lucian and contains largely the same basic plot elements as the Golden Ass of Apuleius, but with fewer inset tales and a different ending. Language. Lucian wrote in the Atticizing Greek popular during the Second Sophistic. He further imitated Herodotus's Ionic dialect so successfully in his work The Syrian Goddess that some scholars refused to recognize him as the author. Editions. Neil Hopkinson, Lucian. A Selection. Cambridge Greek and Latin Texts.